Look at the threat to the fruits of your labor they've come up with. Many people don't know, or don't want to know, but being in a hurry can be costly. Exceeding the speed limit throughout Brazil can be expensive. For example, on a 30 km per hour road, if you exceed the limit, you can get a fine. If you exceed by 10% to 20% on a 30 km per hour road, that is, 33 to 36 km per hour, you're facing a fine of 130.16 Brazilian reals and 4 points on your license. If that's still fine, check out the next one. If you exceed by 20% to 50% on a 30 km per hour road, that is, 37 to 45 km per hour, you're facing a fine of 195.23 Brazilian reals and 5 points on your license. But if that's still not enough for you and it's still fine, check out the next one. This one is the cherry on the rotten cake of hell. If you exceed by 50% on a 30 km per hour road, that is, 45 km per hour, you're facing a fine of 2,934.70 Brazilian reals and 7 points on your license. And in this case, if you're caught, your driving rights are already suspended. It's intense. It brings disaster. Interestingly, we don't pay DPVAT anymore, so think, where are we going to get the money to pay for the fractures and compensation to families? Not to mention the cost of repairs and parts that can come out of your pocket or even the insurance and association deductibles. A collision at speeds between 30 and 50 km per hour can cause severe fractures to the human body, and in some cases, lead to death. This is due to the high impact force that exceeds the bone's resistance capacity, resulting in severe injuries to legs, ribs, head, and other vulnerable parts. The state has created a revenue-generating mechanism that you are invited to participate in. Our streets are poorly signposted and in bad condition, but it's the state's obligation to fix this. With such a resource, they won't need to fail through omission anymore. The problem is that some people won't want to know, maybe because they're very rich. Or out of ignorance, and these are the ones who will arrive in the VIP section of this party. Let's give them the preference, because failing to yield is serious. I wouldn't go to a party like this, God forbid. It's an invitation to hug the devil. If you're still not convinced, consider the following scenario. On a 30 km per hour road, you're driving at 50 km per hour, and suddenly, a child runs out chasing a ball, and you don't have time to react, hitting the child. Oh, how they are fixated on balls. The investigation team is called to the scene, and the big problem is they discover how fast you were going, first because of the damage to the playful child, and second because of your reaction time. Believe it, they make their 15,000 Brazilian reals a month salary worth it, believe it? There you go, you're sitting in the devil's lap. If you're the type who likes to show off for passengers, the boss, or are trying to save the day because you're a man with a capital M, ask these people if they want to be your co-pilot, checking your speed and helping you out, because with this legislative mechanism they've created, my friend, or girlfriend, or non-binary friend, whatever. It's going to go bad. So the form of punishment, as shown in the example, is based on the percentage of speed excess, so it's not just for 30 km per hour roads, it applies to 40 km per hour roads, 60 km per hour roads that are very common, 80 km per hour roads, and even 110 km per hour roads. The smartest people think, but this punishment only works for roads with radar. That's a lie. Some municipalities are using cameras everywhere to carry out this surveillance with resources like artificial intelligence and the judgment of agents. Telling them not to look won't solve it. Now think about something else. If everyone who doesn't want to work but wants to achieve culturally established goals through non-institutionalized means goes unpunished, how will it be? That's when the fear of God grows, right? But that's it. The lawyers are there. There are many people who graduated needing opportunities, right? So some people don't want to know. Don't trust impunity, stay vigilant.